Alright everybody, up next we have some initial impressions on what's behind me, the Maui 5 Go. Alright, so a little background on how I even got the Maui 5 Go in the first place. I was on a couple Facebook chats, and we were talking about speaker placement. We were talking about just how placement of sound is so critical to begin with. And naturally having speakers in a ceremony becomes a difficult challenge when you're trying to run wires and you're trying to hide or conceal your equipment as best as possible to make the scene as pristine as possible. And with that, one of the DJs made kind of a somewhat profound statement. It's like, sound is so critical that placement be damned. If it's in the pictures, it's in the pictures. And personally, I try to always stay out of the pictures as best as possible. But in many instances, that just really is not possible. Anything from how things are kind of laid out, how the seating arrangement is, windy conditions. You don't want to have your speakers way so far out that you're creating echo or it's just creating a very hollow sound in the end. But in the same token, you don't want to necessarily have these cables in shot, and even your best laid plans of concealing and hiding things, they can only go so far. And I'm going to be 100% honest here. I was a bit skeptical at the numbers that were being thrown around. So it was like 5 hours of maximum runtime at max volume, somewhere around 30 hours for kind of more nominal mode. It's an all plastic design, so I was a little concerned about how just exactly well it would sound. But in the end, because of two weddings that I was having coming up, they were at new venues, and I had done a walkthrough. And I just knew that there was going to be no good way for me to place and conceal the normal way that I would do. So with that, along with the Maui 5 Go that I bought, I also bought a second Sennheiser IEM. I already had one for my reception rig, but I decided that I was going to step up my game somewhat for the ceremony side and use one as well. So this way I had a speaker solution that I could literally put the speakers anywhere without wires, and hopefully come up with this very unique proposition of being invisible, essentially, having these one or more speakers kind of in play, but now I can place those really anywhere that I want. So now that I've got these 2 gigs under my belt, what are my initial impressions? Well, frankly, it sounds pretty damn good. It is nowhere near the clarity and sound of the EV50 or anything close in that class. Let's just get that out of the way. This is not some replacement for very great mid to high end grade equipment. It just isn't. That being said, for what it offers, it actually has a pretty rich sound. It's a little hollow. There's no getting around it. It's a plastic enclosure. The column array lives on the very top piece. The middle piece is kind of a filler. The bottom is the battery, which is an ingenious design to have the battery in there, so you can actually swap out the batteries as well. But there are a little bit of suffering of sound, but it is not terrible. It is nowhere near bad either. It's actually quite good. And actually for both events, I had the bride in one of them and the groom in another came over to me and they said this sounded great. I didn't even tell them that I was putting this new solution in place. They just saw it, they heard it, and so they actually went out of the way to tell me that this sounded really good. So very big kudos that from their presence they were very satisfied with the solution, and ultimately I was satisfied with the solution too. Given now that I have a battery powered speaker that now also with my wireless solution allows me to put anything anywhere, and now I can go for multiple hours, teaming that up with my UPS solution for my router, my mixer and mics. I should be able to get 3 hours plus. I'm actually going to run a test and see just how long with just those, how long that battery would go as well. And that would actually probably be the maximum. That will actually probably burn out before the speaker does. But all that being said, I'm very happy with the solution. It's definitely my ceremony go-to solution now. I may even press this in the cocktail. I definitely have a couple areas where trying to find power is kind of scarce, and where power is just not a good position for sound. So this now gives me that option as well. But to be honest, my more default cocktail solution would probably still be the EV50s. They just have a nice deeper sound to a nice richer sound. But again, I cannot fault what the Maui 5 Go is, for its price point, for what it offers in battery power. I believe it's pretty much unmatched, especially now with that swappable battery solution. I don't believe there's any other, column array or other similar device that has something as simple as that. And I know you can also get an external charger as well, so you don't have to charge it necessarily through the speaker. So will you like this solution? Well, that's going to depend on what your requirements are. If you are zero compromise on sound and want absolute perfection, this may not be the solution for you. You still might want to take a listen to it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the output it does. It's definitely plenty loud. It will easily cover, I would say, for a ceremony, I had 150 in one and I had 64 in the other. The smaller one was the one that had a really oddball placement I had to be concerned about, which is one of the main reasons why I did get it. The other one, it was definitely nicer to have the speakers much closer in, and just provided a great sound. If you're looking for battery power, I think this is the option, period. I don't know of many other solutions that go to this length in sound quality and in capability. You don't have to have, like I do, where I use my IEM and whatnot. If you just want to run completely off the sub, you have both a mic input and a line input, so you can mix two mics. And I know Brian Red has a video out there where he did one mic directly in, and then he had a mic with a receiver in the other. You still need to have some kind of battery power go into those mics, but you could have ultimately a very contained and battery powered solution out of that as well. But it definitely gives you a lot of options. For me, now that I have my base of my mixer, my mics, and my UPS, now my speaker goes anywhere and I don't have to worry about the additional drain of my speaker on the UPS. Now that's completely independent and pretty damn good sounding solution at that. Well, I hope you liked the video, and if so, click that thumbs up, hit subscribe, click that notification bell, do whatever social media is telling you to do right now. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead, check out my 4DJs Only page, make some comments in the video, and I'll be following.